I mean, they don't dare want to be labeled as Islamophobic, right? You will get kicked out of all the leftist circles. Your colleges will no longer accept you.
Yeah, this is really why any queer people support Palestine, sure, bro.
Why am I dancing with that trans person?
Quiz for Palestine. Why LGBT supports countries that executes gays. Psych deep dive. So my kind of perspective on this ultimately is, you can take a group of people that think that your lifestyle is sinful or wrong, or even something, you know, you should be executed for or some shit, because it's in their culture or their religion or something like that. You can still think that they don't deserve to be like blown up and like bombed. I think a lot of the criticisms of Quiz for Palestine actually ring kind of hollow. Yeah, acknowledging that they have abhorrent views on gay people. If I was openly gay over there, they'd probably do awful things to me. Pretty simple. The right to self-determination extends to all peoples, not just those I disagree with or agree with. Not really my place to step and say, no, you people are too homophobic, you're not allowed to make your own decisions. I mean, listen, homophobic people exist in Western countries. We're not saying, well, you get to get gunned down or bombed, you know. The Palestinians might not like me very much, might think that my lifestyle is wrong or deserving of punishment or something. I don't think, therefore, that they should be blown up in numbers. I don't think, therefore, they should not be allowed their part of the world or whatever. Anyway, let's watch. We've got Arielle Scarcella. Let's see what she's saying.
How does your kafia support your pride?
Well, for me, it's about liberation.
I mean, yeah, being tossed off of roofs and forced to transition, certainly.
So straight away with the tossed off of roofs thing. Like, yeah, anyone with half a brain that is down with Queers for Palestine or is a gay person that supports Palestine does actually understand this. I wonder how much of this is going to be like, we got some interviews with the dumbest people imaginable, but we'll see.
Is liberating. Why in the hell are leftists choosing to die on this hill of Islamic garbage? Even though Islam is literally against pretty...
Like, this is actually going to be painful, isn't it? This is going to be painful. Are they dying on the hill of Islamic garbage? Or are they saying these people deserve to live, despite them having a potentially abhorrent, in our opinion, worldview? Well, you have to coexist with all kinds of people that have, like, abhorrent worldviews to you, potentially. Such as being a leftist living in the US, where lots of the other people support Trump, for example. You might see that as a bit abhorrent. You probably don't think those people deserve to die, do you?
Pretty much every leftist policy or moral. I'm going to explain this all. Welcome to another psychological deep dive. With other countries around the world getting sick of parts or pretty much all of this horrible culture, a good majority of the American left is still simping for it. My first question is, why would somebody simp for a religion and a culture that hates them? Because this is what happens when the two meet face.
Yeah, why don't people just all have like politics that are completely self-interested? No rich people should ever be like leftist or like economically left. No rich people should ever support any kind of like redistribution of wealth because it's not in their interest. You know what I mean?
To face.
Hi, I'm JoJo. I'm an alumni of DPS and I started working at a school running a before and after school program. I am queer and transgender. More specifically, I am non-binary and I use they, them pronouns.
Wow.
This is a huge part of my overall identity, and I'm very proud to be queer and transgender. It is not my entire identity.
Yeah, from what I understand, Dearborn, Michigan, there's a lot of Muslims, a lot of Arab people there. So I don't know if all this braying and stuff is because a lot of them are not down with this kind of stuff.
When you are young...
Yeah, the other thing is, by the way, probably plenty of Palestinians don't necessarily feel that way. It's probably not a entirely like homogenous society where every single one of them would throw you off a roof if they think you're gay, you know?
It is incredibly difficult to be unable to put names to what you're feeling and experiencing. It was only very recently I was able to put the name to the cold, lonely, and...
Yeah, I mean, listen. Yeah, some brown people don't like you because you're trans. Wow.
Isolating feeling I get as gender dysphoria. Had I been aware of the books and resources available to students in the libraries, I have no doubt I would have had an easier time accepting myself and relating to others.
Please allow the speaker to speak.
speak.
Tons of articles and videos interviewing people that are gay or trans from Muslim countries confirm this. One gay man saying this: I don't think Islam is dynamic enough to suddenly change its view, or that hardcore followers will ever find that homosexuality is acceptable and no longer sinful. There's another one. I was born in Saudi Arabia in 1993. I grew up in a very conservative Muslim family. My parents taught me that
Yeah, so this is more, why don't you have the politics of self-interest, which I just disagree with. I think more people should consider not having self-interested politics.
being gay was wrong and that all gay people go to hell. I tried to be straight for many years, but I could never shake the feeling that something was wrong with me. And for those of you who don't remember, I filmed a video about 2 years ago with a trans woman that is born and raised in, I think, and is still living in Iran. And here's what she had to say about that. Was it your choice to transition? How does that all work? Because people in the
Iran's culture around like gay people and trans people is fucking weird.
United States have a very different version of.
And again, you can disagree with this kind of culture. You can disagree with the idea that if someone is gay, you should trans them so they can be straight again. But you can still agree that they deserve to not be bombed. You can still agree that they deserve to live. Right?
What happens there than what actually happens there.
I identified as gay.
I will say I've seen some queers that were for Palestine until they found out the potentially anti-queer stance people from the third world country have. Some people are very performative. Well, yeah, and some people, they just go along with this shit. They don't actually know anything about the people they're advocating for. And they're not intelligent enough to understand why you can support Palestine and be a queer, you know what I mean?
Gay since freshman high school. Not many people knew about it, but that was what I thought I was. And that was one of the main motives I had for leaving Iran. That's just illegal. If it is observed by 2 adult males or 4 adult females. 4
adult females.
Yeah.
We need twice the amount of women for it to be as bad
Exactly.
as 2 men. That's funny. Okay.
And for women, they're just flogged. I think 99 lashes. The first 2 that they're caught. The 3rd time, I think it's death penalty. Extremely difficult for trans people with actual gender dysphoria to be able to, get their hands on the certificate and get the surgery and change their documents. I mean, if that was the case, a lot of trans people would have just, claimed to be gay. Their process would be facilitated, but that's not the case.
They're not exactly as trans inclusive as leftists think.
Not really. I mean, there's only one way of being trans here. You shut the fuck up. You transition medically. You get the certificate, you accept a hijab, basically every other social circumstances that come with being a woman in Iran society. Once you're passable and you've done bottom surgery and you've changed your documents, now we grant you the name of being a woman. Don't tell anyone, because we don't have this phenomenon in this society. If you can't get the surgery for any reason, your family doesn't accept you, they disown you and kick you out.
So the question still stands. Why are so many leftists choosing to die on this hill of Islam? There are 5 main reasons for this. I think that
And again, die on the hill of Islam. They're talking about Palestine, not Islam. I swear sometimes, Arielle, either the titles don't make much sense to the videos, or she kind of forgets what she's talking about and kind of changes topic a little bit. I thought this was quiz for Palestine.
You'll probably know 3 of them, but the other 2 will come to you as a surprise. And I also think they're more interesting and tell way more of an important story. Number 1, silence is violence. A good amount of these people, majority of them are kids or young adults, have been...
Okay, the silence with violence thing. They believe there's a genocide going on. And people argue that that is the case. I don't really use or don't use that word because I don't do compelled speech. And I haven't decided myself. But if you think there's a genocide of a group of people going on, you're probably going to think that everyone needs to talk about it and it needs as much attention and pressure as possible. Again, that's fairly understandable, even if you disagree, right?
Conditioned to believe that if they are not shouting free Palestine, Black Lives Matter, whatever, with 0 context, the majority of these people don't even know what these movements actually stand for. If they don't stand with them in solidarity, that they are being complicit in genocide.
Are Jewish people accepted in Gaza? Probably not.
in white supremacy, that they are siding with the white oppressors, or that they are a white oppressor. Number 2, movements over myself. Most of these people, and I've said this before in videos, do not have a solid identity. They do not know who they are. They haven't taken the time to learn about their culture, their morals, their beliefs, and have been conditioned by the use of fear to keep on chasing the shifting goalposts that are going further and further to the left. They will latch onto these movements that tell them what to believe, how to think, what to be angry about. This is how crazy it's gotten, okay? This was a post that was made.
This is true of a lot of group of people, to be fair. I can buy this, but it doesn't really deal with the very obvious reason why things like Queers for Palestine exist, right?
In a New York City, Reddit subgroup for protests. I mean, you don't even need to know the messaging anymore. Just show up with your passion. It says, we remind people every day that they are not alone in these unprecedented times. We provide the messaging. You just need to show up with your passion. If these people actually gave a shit about people in the Middle East, they'd care about young girls that are married off at the age of 9.
How helpless are
Maybe they do.
women in Afghanistan? The Taliban's new rules have stripped them of almost all their freedom. They are not allowed to speak in public. Even conversations with female friends must be whispered.
I mean, I can see, to be fair, I can see the criticism. If you're going to talk about things like what's going on in Palestine, you should probably be able to criticize this kind of thing too. Maybe the answer is that they see that as more of a priority because to them it's a literal genocide.
They can only leave home with a male guardian and must be completely covered in heavy burqas, with not a single strand of hair visible.
They care about all the gays being tossed off of roofs, or the people that are forced to transition if they are gay. You might have seen a bunch of people standing for Iran recently. Iran is one of the 65 places in the world where homosexuality is against the law, and one of 12 which it's punishable.
People standing for Iran. What does this person think about the fact that Israel bombed them? Is she down with that?
By death. Listen to this thread on X. Islam and LGBTQ. Islam, along with other major religions, has traditionally considered homosexuality as a sin. This belief has been held by...
I know, it's really annoying, because largely I agree. The stuff with women in Afghanistan is fucked up, and it's wrong. I don't think that's a good, culture at all. Some of this other stuff is, wrong. I don't agree with it. There's a lot of stuff about Islam that I don't like. But we're just missing the point completely.
Right-thinking individuals and authorities throughout history. Homosexuality has been considered a sin within the Islamic tradition and continues to be viewed as such. The Prophet Muhammad warned that homosexuality would be present in his ummah, and he cursed it. In recent times, we've seen the LGBTQ movement attempting to alter the narrative of a gay marriage in Islam. They've even managed to persuade certain scholars to endorse their views and have even created fake accounts posing as Muslims to promote their ideology. If leftists actually gave a shit about black people, they would care about the fatherlessness in homes. But the truth is, they don't give a shit. They just want to feel like they're on the right side of history, no pun intended.
What can you do about that? Someone's dad decides to fuck off, potentially before they're even born. What do you even do about that? Yeah, you should care about fatherlessness in black communities. By doing what? What's the answer there?
And this goes back to number 1, because silence is violence. So they will use their voice even though they have no idea what they're talking about, or no idea what they actually stand for. Watch this.
What I notice is a lot of them just have no idea why they're there. They just think that they're fighting a good cause. They do, it's and true. They mean well, but they don't even know what Intifada means. They don't know what from the river to the sea. Enchilada for them. Exactly. It's just...
Israel is the one reacting to October 7th. Yeah, they've been using October 7th as a justification to kill, many, many times more people for quite a long time now.
Rolls off the tongue. So it's retarda is what they should be saying. But the second part of the thing that I noticed is I underestimated just how uneducated these people are.
You thought they knew something and they know nothing?
I thought they knew at least a little.
This is propaganda.
Bit, but they know nothing. So there was a counter protest that was right outside of the encampment, and it was
reluctant to criticize regimes that were toppled by imperialist Western invasions. That I kind of get, yeah. It's kind of a tangling of priorities. It's well, you're anti-imperialism. You're also anti-subjugating women. It's you kind of have to choose one in a way. Does it ever occur to you October 7th might have been a reaction? Well, it's been reaction to reaction to reaction. The actual war in Israel and Palestine has been going on for fucking forever. And there's been bad actions on both sides that have empowered the other to also do bad actions. And it's going to keep going.
A Zionist that was playing clips from October 7th. And I noticed that there was a group of kids from all different types of misfit groups that were kind of like pulling apart the plywood to see what was playing. And they're all talking about it, and I had to go over there and see what they were saying. Okay. So I sneak over there, and they're all like asking each other, like, what is that? I was like, oh, those are clips from October 7th. Still in disguise, mind you. And they're like, what's October 7th?
Oh, so they didn't even know why this whole war started.
They had no idea.
I do believe that.
I mean, listen, again, I don't have any trouble buying that. There probably are some people that go along with these Palestine marches that actually know fuck all about what's going on. They're just part of something.
Most of the people believe that they're fighting the good fight, so to speak, or that they're fighting for a good cause. But come on, oh my God, like at least know something about it. People in Iran can still be killed for being gay or not wanting to transition under Islamic law. Yet we see very, very few people speaking out against this or about it. I mean, at least these people that were at the parade were brave enough to at least talk about this issue or at least showcase the issue. Number 3, hatred for Western values or white people. Much of the modern day left sees Israel as a symbol of white power, of colonialism, and they use it for a stand-in to symbolize the hatred of America, of Western culture. But it is interesting that over 85% of the world's refugees are Muslim, yet none of those Muslims or people from Muslim countries seek refuge in other Muslim countries.
Do those other Muslim countries always allow them in? Isn't that a big problem with Palestine? Like the neighboring countries don't want them. Places like Egypt, Jordan, stuff like that, they don't want them. Isn't that kind of a huge problem now?
What's even more troubling is that we see Muslims who are fleeing Muslim countries that come to Christian or just more open freedom of religion type countries such as America and the UK, trying to bring Sharia law, which is what they escaped, here. Watch this.
Who wants Sharia law? The Muslims say me. Or who wants to live in Iraq? Not me. Who hates America? All the Muslims put their hand up. Who wants to live
Yeah, look at more propaganda. Wow.
in America? Me. You left your Muslim country under Sharia law to move to a Christian country. Only they want to bring the Muslim rulership and Sharia.
I'll say one thing. Stuff like Sharia law, of course, I don't think has any place in like Western countries. Like, you do have to assimilate, I think. And when you see these kind of enclaves forming, I think that was a factor in like the grooming gangs kind of stuff that happened in this country. I think allowing those kind of enclaves to form and people not assimilating and just kind of carrying on the way they were in like little versions of their own culture where they're kind of shut off from the actual country that they're in. You know what I mean? I think that's a good thing at all. But then plenty of these people do. Plenty of them do assimilate. Plenty of them are not for Sharia law. So you're kind of talking about like a smaller minority that you're actually against. Turkey already hosts millions of refugees, many of whom created by the Western destruction of Iraq. Well, that's the other thing. Lots of them do take people. You can't just fill up the nearest country that'll take them to bursting and then transfer whatever issues onto that country to then have to deal with. Doesn't really make sense. Like, they're going to have to spread out a certain way. And we complain about refugees in this country. Well, we left the EU. There's an agreement with the EU that EU countries can reject anyone that's already been rejected by a country in the EU. We're not in the EU anymore, so they carry on to us, and it's difficult to get rid of them.
Law back into the country. Only they want to bring the laws that destroyed your country into the country that's whole, prosperous, and blessed. If Allah and Sharia are so great, go live under the blessing of Almighty Allah.
A few months ago, I asked my friend Jameson what he thought about this. Here's what he had to say. Why do you think so many people on the left feel the need, A, to hate Jews, and B, to support
Palestine or Hamas shouldn't hide their enemy soldiers on the hospitals? Well, yeah, they're using their own people as a human shield. And then Israel just bombing up those civilians anyway. Like, it is a fairly sane thing to have a problem with killing civilians regardless of whether Hamas are like hiding underneath them or not. You know what I mean?
or like extreme Muslim countries.
You can see what's going on in Gaza and go, oh my God, that's horrific. But the people who live there, they just live there. They're not the government. Right. You could not like America is what we were doing in Afghanistan or Iraq, but the people who live there are the people who live there.
Right.
You can't just pivot on the people and say, oh my God, I hate these people, and you go to Colombia and harass.
See, he's like at least somewhere there to understanding the quiz for Palestine thing. Well, these people just live there. They were just born there. They don't have a choice about that. Should I, because I'm a gay person or whatever, should I dislike them because they dislike me? And then think, okay, well, it's no big deal if they get blown up then.
Some Jewish students, because they have a yarmulke on, you go, whoa, hold on a second. They're Jewish. They're not the government. I think it's just fashionable. I hate to say it, where it's another fashionable thing that they don't want to be engaged with. Right. I mean, there was a little bit, not long ago, when it was Osama bin Laden's anniversary of his death. All the TikTok was saying Osama bin Laden was right.
I saw that. They were reading his letters.
Yeah, we deserve 9/11.
Yeah, I mean, it is TikTok. You gotta remember. If you're gonna go looking for like retardation and people saying shit like Osama bin Laden was right, then TikTok is the one, you know.
I'm like, boy, oh boy, that's a stretch for a 19-year-old to come to that conclusion.
Everybody knows Tel Aviv has the biggest gay pride in the world. They are the only Middle Eastern country that celebrates gay pride. Pretty much the only ones, if not the only ones, that are like very, very much pro-women. And those are two things that leftists...
Okay, so they have a pride festival, but you're not allowed to marry as gay people in Israel. I mean, you could say it's probably better to be a gay person in Israel than in Palestine, for sure. I mean, it's better to be anywhere than fucking Palestine.
Say that they're completely for, except when it comes to this issue. It's the only religion that they're afraid to criticize.
And where they become so beholden. I mean, they're going to be pro-Iran tomorrow. If we got invaded by China, 40% of the country would be like out there waving a Chinese Communist flag. Be like, I stand with China. I really believe we've got so fat, so happy.
Yeah, are people happy? I think people are the opposite, are happy, or they wouldn't be feeling that way.
And when the poorest people among us are fat and have diabetes, which was always a wealthy person's disease, you go, it's the opulence. It's the end of an empire.
Number 4, moral superiority. Not that this is true, but media and progressive leaders across...
Human Shield claim is propaganda. Targeting hospitals is not allowed regardless of conflict. Well, I mean, they're still using them as human shields if they're hiding beneath, like, civilians, ultimately, knowing that they'll probably get bombed there, where civilians are. So they kind of are using them as human shields. But that doesn't necessarily justify killing the human shield, is what I'm trying to say.
Across the world, across the country, are telling people that if you believe this, if you do this, you are morally superior. We have people chanting from the river to the sea that don't know what river or what sea. They don't even know what it is. A lot of them believe that it means freeing Palestine when in reality...
Ah, come on. It means different things depending on where it's said. If some Hamas general says from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, they might well mean, like, kill all the Jews. The average, like, white Western person saying that, they don't mean that. Maybe they don't know what the meaning used by those people is. That doesn't mean that they think they're saying one thing, but they're actually saying another. They are saying they want a free Palestine.
It actually means wiping out Israel, but it's all in the way it's framed. Number 5, this is the big one that no one saw coming. Identity fusion. I'm going to let this guy say everything because he just nails it in a way that I've been trying to say in the last 5 months or so.
It's a
Okay, we haven't got long left, and she still has not made the very obvious point that not everyone's politics are self-interested, and that you can just think that someone that disagrees with you shouldn't die over it.
Psychological state where your personal identity and a group's identity merge so deeply that an attack on the group feels like an attack on you. This isn't just identifying with a group.
Like, I don't think Arielle is very familiar with the Occam's razor concept. Sometimes it isn't all this complicated shit that we're going on about, that we're doing a psych deep dive of. Sometimes it is. People are getting killed, and I don't think that's good. They do mean kill all the Jews. Does the average white Western person saying from the river to the sea, do they mean kill all the Jews when they say that? I don't think they do. Like I said, a Hamas person quite possibly does mean that when they say that. That doesn't mean every single person that ever says it ever actually means kill all the Jews. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's the collapse of boundaries between I and we, and it predicts extreme self-sacrificial action even without social pressure. And this is different from social identity. Social identity means that part of your sense of self comes from the groups you belong to, but you still maintain a boundary between yourself and the group. Identity fusion is when that boundary disappears. You don't just support the group, you are the group. Fusion isn't unique to one side politically. The far right can also fuse. Think conservative Christianity merging religious law with civic law. But I have a plausible hypothesis about the left. Certain leftist frameworks are more prone to fusion because they emphasize collective responsibility and shared fate, making individual group boundaries more porous.
I mean, yeah, think that you're either with us or against us mentality. This is the psychology.
That's a leftist thing. That's a fucking every group that's ever existed thing. Fucking hell, man.
behind that all. And it happens so frequently that most people don't even realize they're doing it anymore. Almost every single time I bring up gay rights, I just filmed a video a few days ago with Savannah and Misha. It will be on this channel in a few days. So make sure to subscribe if you have not already, because it's a good one. I don't want you to miss it. And I asked people what rights they've lost as gay people. And of course, immediately they bring up trans rights, or they bring up DEI. And it's like,
I mean, this is true. Like, what rights have people lost in like America or the UK or somewhere like that when it comes to gay rights or trans rights? Like, a person will bring up trans rights in conjunction with gay rights. Potentially they see it as like a slippery slope, because everyone believes in slippery slopes. Everyone pushes slippery slopes. There are slippery slopes everywhere. So a lot of the time they'll say, well, they'll remove these trans rights and then they'll start attacking gay rights, which, whether that's actually going to happen, who knows? You're trying to predict the future, of course. And from the river to the sea is followed or combined with intifada cries. Occam's razor would say they're calling for the destruction of Israel. Well, that really depends. Like, if these people don't really know what it is they're talking about, like this video is spelling out, they probably do just think it means free Palestine. And you can't say, well, you intended to mean this, but you actually mean this. I don't think it really works that way. I think that from the river to the sea has a different colloquial meaning in the West than it does to like people on the inside in like Hamas or something like that. I think people say lots of shit. They don't entirely know what it means.
Like, no, that's not what I asked. I asked about gay rights under Trump. That wasn't even the question, but they automatically go back into identity fusion.
In one study, participants read about either Palestine or Kurdistan. The more left-leaning they were, the more they fused with Palestine.
Like, are these in like comparable conditions? Do we think that the Palestine thing is just, it's so much more in the media, it's so much more like constantly talked about, that's why people have an easier time like falling one side of the aisle or the other on it, because they already know about it? Whereas the Kurdistan thing is probably like relatively new to them. They probably feel they need a bit more time to understand. I wonder how much that accounts for this.
But there was no significant fusion with Kurdistan, whose lines
Israel are at war with Hamas, not Palestine. Well, they're killing a lot of Palestinians for people they're not at war with, you know?
stayed mostly flat. In another study in the same paper, Kurds were framed in three ways: victims of oppressive occupation, victims of war, or there was a neutral control. Leftists fused more strongly only when Kurds were framed as victims of oppressive occupation. But
doesn't that make sense? Isn't that kind of what the leftists are more likely to be about? Seeing a group of people that are like under the thumb, that are not being treated well. And that's kind of like, that's going to tip the balance a bit.
When framed as being in a war, the effect disappeared.
I think this is just normal. I think this is just all to be expected. I think we're trying to make something so much more deep than it actually is. Intention doesn't mean jack. Okay, we're going to have to agree to disagree there, because I think intention is very important. I don't think the average person in the West saying Palestine will be free means kill all Jews.
Put together, the pattern is pretty clear. Fusion isn't triggered by all humanitarian crises. It's contingent on the framing,
obviously.
Especially narratives of oppression, colonialism, and power asymmetry, not necessarily the people themselves.
This is why we see so many people from the US, Canada, and other Western countries fighting for something they are so far removed from. I mean, it's literally halfway across the world. Because a threat to their cause feels like a threat to themselves. It's why we see things like borders are imaginary, and 2 seconds later we see we're living on stolen land. They are so deep in this overarching narrative.
I mean, you can have those two positions. I mean, the whole borders are imaginary thing. Borders are like socially constructed and shit like that. I find that a bit cringe. Like, countries probably should fucking exist and have their culture and have their borders and shit like that. I think that's fine. It's just how we've done it for a really long time. But the land exists regardless of the borders. Like, saying you don't think borders exist doesn't mean, oh, well, therefore it's fine that we killed a lot of the natives and took their land. Like, I don't know, man. What much he's trying to say here? Like, we've completely avoided the very obvious position that most of these people have. They just see a lot of death and they don't like it, regardless of who those people are. And talking about like Islam and like some of the issues of that religion is like valid and shit, but it's like, it's kind of irrelevant in a way. It's a different conversation. We're trying to talk about Quiz for Palestine whilst having a completely different conversation.
This overarching leftist narrative that nothing that they're saying is even making sense anymore. They also have a very difficult time separating government from people. I'm going to explain that for a second. We see so much hatred for the Western world or white people that when even if you disagree with Israel,
our taxes are paying for the bombs. There is that as well, yeah. It's perfectly fine if your country is like giving a bunch of money or selling a whole bunch of bombs that are getting dropped on a bunch of people that are largely innocent, that you might have a problem with it. That's perfectly understandable. Like, we can't just engage with any of the basic actual points from these people. If I yell fire in a crowded theatre but intend it as a joke, how is that analogous to saying from the river to the sea in a country thousands of miles away? How is that analogous? Yelling fire in a crowded theatre is a completely different thing.
which is the government. It's not the people who live there necessarily. It's the same way you can be pro-Palestine, anti-Hamas. But for some reason, we're not seeing that on the opposite side. If you're a left...
Are we not? I think there's probably lots of people on the left that are willing to say, I don't like Hamas. The reason I feel a certain way about what Israel is doing is because of all the innocent people getting killed. I think that's probably actually quite a normal perspective on the left.
Leftist pro-Palestine means you're anti-Israel, you're anti-Jews, you're anti-white. They cannot separate people from government. And that is because, number two, movements over myself. They don't know how to separate political issues from ordinary people. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. And like I said before, make sure to subscribe. I have 3 amazing videos coming up that I don't...
I'm going to be honest. I actually thought that was fucking cooked. I thought that was pretty terrible. I think my point in support of like Quiz for Palestine is just so incredibly basic and obvious that if you don't address it in your video that's called something like this, then you've gone completely fucking wrong and you should start over. The outcome of the action. Okay, what's the outcome of white people in the USA saying Palestine will be free? Basically nothing, right? What's the outcome of shouting fire in a crowded theatre? A whole bunch of people panic thinking there's a fire and they need to get out as quickly as humanly possible. There might be a crush, there might be people that get injured, all kinds of things. So again, I asked, like, where's the analogy? Has she talked about like Quiz for Palestine before? Oh, she has. Okay, we'll do this quickly.
I want you to notice that it says queers for Palestine, not lesbians for Palestine, not gays for Palestine, bisexuals, transgenders for Palestine. Just proving once again that queer is an ideology and it's very different than actually being homosexual. A lot to unpack here, and that is, of course, assuming that everybody that identifies as queer thinks that they're the same as actual homosexuals and transsexuals, and why they would even support a country who throws them off of roofs. Let's get ready for another
Okay, so she didn't get it a year ago either.
Psychological deep dive. Let's answer the 4 main questions. Where, what, who, and why. What? Queers for Palestine.
Hey, what do we want? When do we want it? What do we want?
Wow, I love it. This video is like barely more than 7 minutes long and we're already getting the same footage again. Wow.
Justice! No justice! No justice!
The insanity. Who? Queers, mostly on college campuses or insane leftists on liberal TikTok and the internet. Where? Mostly America.
The occupation has got to go. Hey, hey! In the street!
The Israeli government funds the Israeli government funds
Queer rights, trans rights. We say no to genocide. Queer rights, trans rights. We say no to genocide.
Now for the fun part. Why? Well, I mean, we do know what Palestine and queer people do not have in common. So what do they think they have in common? Number 1, they both hate the West and America. Number 2, they both believe that...
Again, all the obvious things we skip over so we can make them sound like bad people. Maybe some of them are, I don't know. Maybe some of them do hate the West. Is that really why they're like anti-killing people in Palestine though?
That they are oppressed and victims of the West and America. Number 3, they both believe, and probably genuinely so,
well, they probably see like Palestine, like people in Palestine as somewhat being victims of Western oppression. Because like Western bombs are being sold to Israel that are then getting dropped on them. Yeah, I mean, people don't want to accept that when Jews started getting moved into Israel, there were already people there. One side has an advantage, one side gets to build up a lot more of a military than the other. They're going to end up dominating. Obviously, the UK had a lot of influence for a long time.
Believe that they are fighting for a good cause. Palestine, obviously, for their country, and queers, well, for the oppressed people of color. The people of color, the oppressed people of color. I mean, they don't dare want to be labeled as Islamophobic, right? You will get kicked out of all the leftist circles. Your colleges will no longer accept you.
Yeah, this is really why any queer people support Palestine, sure, bro.
Will not be a good year for you. 4 is a very interesting one. Even though technically we know that most people from the actual land of Israel are also people of color, according to leftists, the leftists still see these people as oppressors because they see them as more Western. Number 5, they are both anti-capitalism, anti-imperialism, and I'm sure a number of other anti-things. We've also seen Black Lives Matter come back into the picture with all of this. And people ask themselves why. I think it's quite obvious. They see themselves as liberating the oppressed. Black people are just like Palestinians. They're just like every other...
Well, they want to see the oppressed liberated. I think you've got a fairly good claim to say that the Palestinians are being oppressed.
person of color.
And we understand that Palestinian liberation is black liberation.
And again, Black Lives
Matter. Yeah, they lump their causes in. Yeah, okay.
Matter, just like Palestine, just like the queer activists in the Western world, Black Lives Matter also seeks to destroy the West. Ben Shapiro said it best in his video. He said the alliance to destroy the West spans the globe. If decolonization is code word for attacking the powerful and the systems that sustain them, then Queers for Palestine starts to make sense. Also, this is a good
The bitch from The Sopranos. I haven't seen The Sopranos. I'll have to take your word for it.
Time to note that the majority of this is happening at Ivy League universities across the country. We're not seeing this happen at random city colleges in New York. So it's a good time to guess that these people, I mean, you don't even have to guess, there's videos of them, but the majority of them are, again, wealthy, white, and entitled. And listen, both sides are getting extremely critiqued. People have been jumping on board from both sides of the spectrum to make fun of these queer idiots.
I'm here representing Gays for Palestine.
Wow, so funny. This is hilarious. Look how funny this is.
Organization representing the 2SL LGBTQIA plus community that stands with the persecuted Muslims who just want to jihad in peace. All right. So a lot of people.
Yes, that's what they want to do. They all just want to jihad. Wow.
Rushing to judgment against the Palestinians right now because of the stuff they're seeing on TV.
Why would any Jewish people go and live in Palestine? Do they want to get killed by their own army's bombs? That would be a bit crazy.
I want to say a lot of people have misconceptions about.
I mean, you get like the settlements in like the West Bank and stuff. I guess that counts.
Palestine. Mia Khalifa, one of the most popular porn stars in America, who has done a bunch of lesbian scenes, is standing with the Palestinians. And just because they've thrown a few of my...
I legitimately think that these people are actually just stupid. The worst thing is, they're calling other people stupid, whilst not understanding the most obvious fucking point in the world. It's like so fucking obvious why things like Queers for Palestine exist. How are you this dense?
Allies off of roofs in the past. That doesn't make them bad people.
There's a video about.
Even if they are bad people, do they deserve to get blown up in fucking numbers?
It's so stupid. But it's so accurate. It's so dumb, but so accurate. I had to include it. Dave Rubin, an actual homosexual.
Yeah, he's not serious. He's obviously joking. But the problem is, his joke makes no sense because he just doesn't understand the people he's making fun of.
Sexual and a very much sane man had this to say about the situation.
Like, this is why like a lot of politicized like comedy doesn't land. Because the people you're satirizing, you don't actually understand them in any way, shape, or form. And it's particularly embarrassing in this instance because it's just really fucking obvious. It's so fucking obvious why gay people might still support Palestine. Like, I don't know how. She's made more than one video about this subject and doesn't understand what the fuck she's talking about.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Right, I want to be very clear about this. If any.
Yeah, but what is he satirizing? Is he satirizing people making fun of gays for Palestine, or is he satirizing gays for Palestine? Because if it's the latter, then it's not working because he doesn't understand that group of people. So it's bad satire, is what I'm trying to say.
Any of you know who that man in a dress is, who's also wearing a mask outdoors? I have no idea.
Lots of people don't support the death penalty in any situation. Doesn't mean they're defending the actions or beliefs of those people. It just means they don't believe they should die for it. It's not complicated. Yeah, exactly. She made 2 videos about this and doesn't understand that.
Why? I will put $10,000, I am not kidding, $10,000 to send that man an address to Gaza.
This video is
okay, fair enough, whatever.
not meant to be an Israel versus Palestine debate. To be honest, I'm not well versed in foreign policy. It's simple.
You're not well versed, so you extra don't understand why these people feel a certain way. You've just found some kind of hypocrisy that you think you can like get a cheap own based on.
Meant to be a queer idiots versus sane homosexuals, a visual aid. This is so bad that I'm laughing at
What, a sane homosexual doesn't support Palestine?
this because obviously I know people have died. I'm not laughing at the fact that people have died. I'm laughing at the fact of the irony of the situation. Somebody tweeted, breaking, Hamas has announced that it will no longer throw LGBTQ people off of tall buildings. We have no tall buildings left, a Hamas spokesperson said. Obviously, again, it's not funny that people died. It is funny that somebody thought to make that.
Dark humor, I get it.
Great joke. Apparently, U.S. soccer star Megan Rapaport, who I cannot stand, lesbian bitch with pink hair, was promoting a fundraiser for the relief for children in Gaza. And obviously, we don't want any children to die. We don't even want any people to die. But Tim Pool did post this.
Oh, so you do understand why they support it then. So why do all this? What point are you making then? They don't want people to die. Oh my God, man.
This in response to that, which I also thought was a slap back to reality. He said, can someone start a GoFundMe for a pride parade in Gaza? I will contribute
This is completely retarded. Complete non-point. That doesn't understand these people.
$100,000 to help Megan and any of the queers for Palestine get there. I would love to see it. And
Wow, Tim Pool with a retarded take. Never heard that before.
finally, we have another sane gay who gets it.
And this is how gay people live in Palestine.
Yeah, she thinks sane gays wouldn't support Palestine, wouldn't be against the war, wouldn't be for allowing these people to live their lives, even if they disagree with these queer people's lifestyles.
How are gay people supporting Palestine if you get thrown off a building there? You wouldn't be
This person is stupid.
thrown off a building. You get about 10 years in prison, but it could be moved up as far as the death penalty.
Thank you for watching.
That's a sane gay person. Okay, right.
It's not free Palestine from Israel. It's free Palestine from the Hamas. Hamas equals ISIS.
Thank you so much for watching this video.
Lots of those people probably fucking agree with you.
I love doing these psychological deep dives and the fact that I can go kind of across different cultures.
Yeah, the population gets radicalized. There's a lot of history. It's not surprising. Does that mean these people deserve to die?
And talk about stuff other than just LGBT. And because I am funding the majority of this channel and a lot of my videos are not super advertiser friendly, and because I live in America and I am pro-capitalist, but I am also a libertarian, and I believe that I can do what I want and when I want and who I want, as long as it's consensual, of course, with my body. I have an OnlyFans page. Go and subscribe to it. The link is right here. I cannot, unfortunately, post the link in the description, but there's a...
There you go. You want to see this wine mom do OnlyFans shit. Her old shit is a fucking riot, man. There's this video of her like sat on a bed with like a trans woman.
So do you guys like scissor? I think if I tried to scissor, I'd sprain my back. You know I have a bad back. If I think a girl is hot, does that make me gay? I hate men too. Don't we all? What if I dreamed about having sex with another girl? Sometimes I wish I were gay. But ew. No offense, I could never picture myself licking another girl's vagina. What does it taste like?
I'll say one thing, she's aged well.
I'm not surprised. I mean, you did chop off like all of your hair. Wait, this doesn't mean you're gonna start dressing like a man too, right? Oh my god, please don't do that. What if I had sex with another girl? Oh my god, you're gay? But you're so pretty. So you agree? You think you're really pretty? Why do all lesbians dress so disgusting? I mean, don't they have like a gay guy friend that could help? You are so cute. If I was lesbian, I'd totally fuck you. Yes, I'm peeing.
Yeah, she calls herself a moderate. I do understand. Sometimes people see people calling themselves moderates or like centrists or whatever, but they're very, very partisan. I do understand why that like rubs people the wrong way. I feel like I get tarred with that brush, mostly because I'm like gender critical, but actually I don't think I'm this kind of moderate.
Oh, hi, straight guy.
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, thank you.
But I'm a lesbian.
Oh, really? You say that you're a lesbian too. Are you down to get fucked by my 9-inch dick? Just bought it for $29.99 and you're on the bottom, bitch!
So if I
Oh my god, this is like, what year was this? 2013? Yeah, it feels like that.
tried to kick you in the junk.
Wow, you are super butch. Too bad I'm only into femmes.
Pity. I only fuck straight girls.
And here I just thought you had a tiny dick.
See, here's the thing, straight guys. You're not a lesbian.
And saying that you're a lesbian doesn't make us feel any closer to you. The shortest distance between you and our vagina isn't going to be any line that you have to say.
Because you're a man.
And no, it is not cute or original.
It doesn't make us want to have sex with you. Being a lesbian means you identify and live your life as a woman who is attracted to other women.
So boys, the next time a girl tells you that she's a lesbian, ask to just be friends. And if you're lucky, she just might teach you everything you need to know about eating. Why not? Let's help out all the straight guys by sharing this on your Facebook and posting it on Twitter. And other than that, I will see you guys back here on this channel next.
Wow.